Everybody, we are here in the beautiful Orlando, Florida with Jeff from JL Electrical down here. Jeff, it's always good to see you again.
Thank you, man. Pleasure always.
Not a lot of people know this, but Jeff and I have been knowing each other for like almost close to 2 years now.
Yeah, a little bit over.
You know, we first met down in, no, it wasn't Fort Lauderdale.
It was, yeah, 2 years, yeah, Fort Lauderdale.
But no, it was north, right?
No, we went to the PDD in Palm Bay.
West Palm.
West Palm.
West Palm. That's where.
Palm, then
and we were in front of the which one? Steakhouse. Which steakhouse was it?
Charlie Chris or Chris?
Ruth Chris.
Ruth Chris.
Yeah, that's where we met, in the lobby of Ruth Chris Steakhouse. Wow, how time flies. And then we met again in Orlando at the convention at RE Plus.
Yep.
So this podcast is a long time coming, and I'm super excited because when Jeff and I were talking before, we were talking about how so many contractors, so many electricians will come into the trade loving what they do.
Exactly.
And then we start seeing that they have usually a few paths to go. But what we see a lot of people is they'll either go into contracting or that they'll stay as an electrician.
Correct.
But what we started learning is not everybody lasts in contracting. Or if you come into contracting, you spend the next 25 to 30 years trying to figure it out, and you're really stuck in the same place. And what I loved about your story, what I loved about your experience is how you was explaining how even 10 years contracting, you're always like, what's next? How can I get to that next level? Where's that next leap? And what I think a lot of electricians need to start understanding is these are questions you can ask yourself now. You don't have to be a contractor for that. You can always figure out, how do I get better at studying the NEC, studying code? How can I get better in my work? You know, how can I get better as a husband, as a boyfriend, as a father? All of these questions that you start asking yourself is what made you the person that you are today. Right. And I'm super excited to be here at your shop. Thank you. You just moved in. He has trucks all over the place. And we just want to learn more about your story for the apprentices who want to become electricians, or electricians who are trying to figure out what's next. We want to learn from your experience. So
sure. I mean, consistency is key. And I don't say it just to say it. It's to get good at something, you got to continually do and improving your craft, your trade as you go. You cannot half-ass it. There's no secret shortcut. There's no way to make this happen overnight. You have to continue to improve your craft and your trade so you can become successful at it.
And I like that because I feel like now we're seeing everywhere online where everyone's saying electricians are the next millionaires because of data centers, because of the boom. But a lot of people are coming into the trade and they're like, well, I can't live off of this. And they don't understand that it takes 3-4 years before you can make 30 an hour.
Exactly.
Right? And then 5, 6, 7 years before you even can think about going into contracting. But then when you go into contracting, you're looking at 3 years of not making anything.
Exactly.
So if you're not willing to put in 10 years, like off the bat,
then it's not for you. I mean, if you want to have a good job, you can find a job in the trades, union, non-union. If you want a job, you can find a job. But if you want to succeed as an entrepreneur, because being an electrical contractor, being an electrician are two different things. And people think it's the same thing. And it's not, because when you become an electrical contractor, you're dealing with the business side of it, not with what, you can be very good at putting panels and lighting and doing all kind of stuff, but are you good running a business? What experience? There's no school for us, most of us that come from the field, that help you make that transition. It's a very rough transition going from electrician and being in the field to being a business owner and have to make business decisions. It's a whole totally different wax.
And already, when we came into blue collar, a lot of people talk about like how we're not good at school. We didn't go to college already.
All right.
True or not?
True.
So if we already came into electrical because we weren't comfortable in school, now you throw business, that's not for us, you know? So I want to know more now on how'd you started as an electrician. Where did that whole journey begin?
Oh, wow, that started, and I'm going to give you a little more context. That started right off high school, really. Off high school. Trade school for electricity. Then moved on and didn't do much with it. I finished, graduated, really didn't do much with it. Then many years back when I was like 27, I fall back on it, and from there on, I start building on it.
Wow. And then when you started working in electrical and you started building up your experience, you started working for a company. And I looked, if you want to talk more about that experience, before you went into contracting, what was your experience like with your previous contractors?
I mean, yeah, I mean, like I was telling you, owning a business was never my idea, never my plan. I was just a good electrician, doing my job, minding my business, getting paid like every Friday. But the people around in my circle, including my boss, friends was like, dude, you're too smart, you're too bright, you know your stuff. Why you don't make that leap, that step to become an electrical contractor? And I was like, nah, I'm good. But little by little, that seed continued to go behind my head, and that message continues. I wake up in the morning thinking about it, and one day I just decided to jump. And like going back to what you were saying, you're going from making good money and being stable to not knowing where your next check is coming from, not making no money, and that whole struggle of becoming an electrical contractor and starting your business from the ground up.
And I always thought, and there's a few points that I loved about your experience. One is like you never thought about becoming a contractor.
Never.
But at the same time, you already had qualities that people saw in you that made you. The same thing when I talk about apprentices. There's a lot of apprentices who don't know where they're going yet.
Exactly.
But these are qualities you can already work on and you can already have. For example, if you're like good at working with others, you understand you're probably already the best GC that no one's heard of yet. You know, because at the end of the day, it's managing relationships, right?
Managing relationships.
If you know how to communicate with your boss, you're probably going to go pretty far because he can trust you, and when things get hard, he knows you're going to communicate. And none of that has to do with electrical. None of that has to do with bending the pipe or pulling the wire.
No.
So when it comes to anything, I think, in the trades or of significance, you can work and have those qualities long before you even get the position, even if before you open up your own shop. And that's what I want to focus on the apprentice side of things. That these are things that you can work on even before you open up your own company that no one can take away from you. So when it came to now that you started looking into contracting, get that bug in your ear, and then you started like working towards it, what were some of the things that you had to do? What was that roadmap like for, let's say if someone, especially in Florida, is saying, oh man, I want to be a contractor. What's that process like here?
Very important. I mean, I have found you have to work for a licensed electrician, and I cannot stress it enough. I've been in those board meetings or board meeting for the counties or the state, where if you work for an electrician and he's not licensed, or you working as a W-9 and not getting a W-2, then your hours doesn't count.
Yeah.
And people don't know that. People just work for contractors and be like, yeah, I'm W-9 and getting that. But no, your hours aren't accounting. They will not give you your hours so you can take your test. Compared to other states and here in Florida, you have to be, I mean, the steps are apprentices, journeyman, master, and then contractor. Not every state have that they go straight to journeyman or whatever. But you have to follow the rules per se, because if you go into the trade and you work for somebody that is not licensed, your hours don't count.
Wow. Yeah.
And that's a big issue. I've seen it happen over and over.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people will just jump in trying to get their feet wet. But if they can fall in the rat race, they can fall into it where they now working for that guy 5, 10, 15 years
And then
have nothing to show for it.
have nothing to show for it.
That's
So
yeah.
being accredited is important. Make sure that you are, but in as a apprenticeship and going through the motions of going, what things you need to do is just learn the best you can do. You have said it before in another of your podcasts, like getting ahead of your journeyman, watching what they're doing, anticipating what's next, and just pay attention to details. It will take you a long way.
Yeah.
You will move real fast in this industry.
I like that. I like that. And we're coming to a point where, and that was the next part we were talking about, that people don't understand how much potential electrical has. We were just talking about data, recording, instruments out there that insurance company needs, or
Power analyzing, infrared, thermal imaging, fiber optics. You call it right now, all new things, emerging things. Wow. Like I said, the power analyzing, the thermal imaging, the data qualification, data certification. There's a whole bunch of new products that are out there that people are requiring with all this boom, this internet, or like you said, data centers, and all qualification that you need.
And people are coming in thinking it's still about just a black and white wire,
It's not pulling
or
wire, bending pipe. That
you know,
it's part of the job. You got to know your job, but we are moving so fast in technology, like the AI. That's a whole thing for the business side. You have to be top of the ball.
yeah. And that is another way of don't get complacent.
No,
Because
never.
like just like if you can get stuck working for a contractor for 10, 15 years and not do anything of it, the same is if you get stuck in one specific field. Like
Yes.
if you're just doing residential. I mean, if you like it, no one's going to stop you.
No.
But if you want to keep growing, there's so much more out there for you. For example, all the things that you just talked about. So now with that being in mind, how did you get into that line of work? Talk about your team. What are you guys tackling? What are some of the projects you're seeing today?
Well, we do. I mean, tons of stuff that we work. I mean, we do tons of government work. We do a lot of insurance work. Right now, we're working in a water plant. Right now, we're working on, like I said, a prison that being refurbished, a bar, some apartments in Tampa. You know, we got projects all over the place. But I mean, we were around as a company. We do a little bit about everything. Residential, it's not that we don't do it, but we step away from it a couple years ago, looking for the big stuff. But like you said, if it's not for everybody. Some people, that's what they like, that's where they want to be at.
Yeah.
Fine, but I feel that you need to always progress and keep on growing and get better yourself, learn new stuff.
Yeah. And that's why I feel like a lot of people, they don't focus on that. Or they say, that's not what I want to do. Like, for example, I'll tell people, hey, if you're an electrician, you should want to work towards your license, even if you don't want to open up your own business, because it's just a progression.
It is a progression.
You know, plus if you go to a new company, if somebody comes to you and say, hey, I have a master license, but I don't want business, I just want, at least you know how much experience he has. It only helps you. The same with learning the different aspects of electrical. There's so many different aspects where if you genuinely care about what you're doing and the craft, there's so much room for you to grow in. And I always think about it where people are like, oh, I just want to stick for residential. I always think about my daughter when I'm like, have some broccoli. And she goes, I don't like it. I'm like, you never tried it. You know, so I'm like, hey, have you tried date? I don't like it.
I'm going to throw something out there that might be a little bit controversial, but was listening to somebody recently say like, oh, you got to pick, you can't do service and you can do construction at the same time. You're not set up for it, then it's fine. You can't do it.
Yeah.
But we do it all the time, all day, every day. So it's you got to go where, there's plenty avenues.
Exactly. And if you're a one-man shop, there's only one of you. You can.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So anyways.
I love that. And then that also ties to another conversation we had where there's so many things that people say in the trade that they're just so used to it. You know, stigmas in the trade that we talked about. I've been doing this for 30 years.
Oh God.
You know,
I hate that phrase.
Same shit, different day. Everyone at this. It's like everyone says that, but it doesn't really help you get anywhere. But you feel like you have to wear this stigma. You have to wear this persona because that's just what everybody does. What have you done in your company or with your team to make sure that you guys are always looking forward or providing for your team?
We're always evolving. Like I said, we were like everybody else. We started in the home and they're doing the residential. And obviously we migrated to the commercial and then we said, okay, there's more opportunity here, more stuff to do. But we're doing tons of stuff. Like we got certified a level 2 on the thermal imaging because right now 70B requires that you must. Before it used to say you should. Now the code says on the 70B says you must.
Nice.
So do thermal imaging for the gear and all the stuff yearly. So we just anticipating what's the next thing emerging and always looking for those opportunities. So we jump on that, got certified, got that under our belt as a company. The data qualification, we just saw the opportunity with a lot of engineers looking for more information to how to upgrade or downgrade gear. So we looked into that, we got into that, and we accomplished it. And here we are doing that. Other stuff that we have done that have the AI, like I said, for the way we estimate projects. Obviously, AI is in everything. We went to Chicago, went to NECA, we spoke to a whole bunch of people. We came back, did our homework, and started implementing and adding the AI to how we do our estimates. And we have found a combination of platforms, different software that work well together. And we started implementing that, and it grabbed our estimate from weeks or days to hours or minutes. So always looking for what's the edge or what's next and what's moving so we can always be better as a business.
I like that. I like that because a lot of people, outside of the trades, they're always scared of AI coming in because they're losing. I think there was a report today, Facebook laid off like 8,000 people today. And they laid off because they're finding AI is doing the job better than them. But for electricians, we find out no one can take our work from us. But not only that, we can use AI to help us with our business, right?
Exactly. It's not perfect. Of course, it's not perfect, but it does improve a lot the timing on doing what we did or the old way and grabbing the highlighter and mark all this drawing and I got 35 receptacle here. When you drop that in something in a software, and in 2 seconds it tells you got 35 receptacles, you got 55 AP, 100 something lights. That's it.
Exactly. And then people want to use it as a fear tactic, but I feel like a lot of companies are now using it as a tool. It's like, okay, before it took me 1 day to do an estimate, now I can do 10 a day, right? What do you think about that?
You got to be careful. There's a fine line in between that, and that's very, very important. You don't want to use AI to do your job. You want to use AI to enhance your job. And people don't understand that. They want to be like, and give it back to me, and then mad because I'm off by $30,000.
Yeah.
You didn't do the homework. You got to use it to enhance what you're doing to get to your goal from A to Z quicker. But I don't think the technology is 100% out there for it to, here it goes, give it back, and it's 100%. We use 3, maybe 4 different softwares. Combined, we get the enhancement we need so my estimators can get the information they need in a quicker time. But we don't just drop it and rely on it 100%.
I like that. That's what I love about the use of AI because it can be an amazing tool. Also, I started noticing online, there's a lot of new electrical pages. They said, hey, download our AI and learn code in the field. That can help a lot of people in the field, but is that going to help you when you go for your license exam?
I don't know. No.
So that's why I'm trying to bring the point, even with AI, that you can't walk in with the test with your phone on. So that beats the purpose. So. Yeah. Even though it can help you in the field, like if you're day to day, it's always going to make you better. But at the end of the day, you have to learn these fundamentals of what these tools can do for you as a complement. But you, the electrician, you have to know all of these things.
Correct.
What I love about taking a tour of your warehouse is you have a job board back there. You want to explain why you have a job board? Because I feel like when I came in, I thought it was just for a test. And he's like, no, that's not the case.
No, the job board is for all those you that want to become an electrician, that want to put anything in your resume and come to places, at least to like my shop, and want to say that you have 25 years experience. I'm going to say, fine. We do a written test for the hiring. It's 20 questions. 13 of them are general knowledge, 7 questions are code tests. And it's really, I just want to know what you know. I just want to be transparent. If you come over here and be like, I don't know how to do this, I don't know how to do that, fine. But we grab these resume and they way padded and they want, I call them astronauts. And then they be like, oh yeah, I put the solar panels on the space station. No, dude. So when they come over here, we give them a test. And again, it's not to judge anybody. It's more to see what you know, where you at, to see where we put you. We got a department, we got a service department, we got a construction department. We cannot put you in a service if you don't know how to do a 3-way. And you can troubleshoot and don't know the difference from ohms, from resistance to amperage, because there's a lot of people who know or do electrical work or electrician, but based on experience, but they can troubleshoot nothing to serve their life. So I can put you in the wrong department. So we do, the job board is more to after we do the test, we go out there and we do a physical. The guys do a diagram and see if you know how to read a drawing. and you got to make it happen in the board. We give you all the materials, and that's what we use the board for.
I like that. I like that, especially we know every state is different. Every state has their own licensing. Does Florida have a journeyman license?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah,
It's like the middle path to become a master.
So, which is good if you work towards your licensure. You know, now you have that to like. If you come in and say, "Hey, I got an active card,"
then yeah, it makes sense. Then
it only helps you.
Exactly. I'm not gonna make you jump through too many hoops because I know you have a base.
Yeah, but if you say I got 15 years experience with no journeyman card, then you're like, that's a red flag, right?
It is a red flag because where are your progression? What are you trying to accomplish?
Yeah.
I mean, you can always be an electrician and be, but there's got to be some sign of you wanting to get better because we work very hard in the culture of this company. Very hard to make it what it is and everybody get along, everybody work together, and it's just weeding those people out, really. Yeah. I'm not saying it's not for everybody, but this is not your home. If that's where your mindset is, this is not your home because all my guys, my team, these guys get out of work and we are traveling and we are in an Airbnb, and I swear in a stack of Bible, they will tell you, they were looking at the code and the table and fighting over code at 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And that's the team that we have and that's the team that we built. And if you don't want to progress, then this is not your home for sure.
I like that because that always starts with the owner, you know, building that culture. Because another piece of content that we always put out is like, don't be an installer.
Yeah.
There's people who are going in and you say, throw 1-inch pipe. That's all they're going to do. They're going to throw it. And they don't know what they're pulling, why it's that many conductors.
The why.
They come in and you're just tell me a little big phrase I was always told. And, you know, I know it's very controversial, but I always talk to people. I was like, when I was in the union, they would say, hey, Will, you're the conduit crew. Just go lay out pipe. I said, how many conductors are we pulling? He goes, Will, you get paid from the neck down. Just put up the pipe. And I'm like,
no.
They're just telling you basically, don't worry about anything because there's a crew. Now, if you look at it as an owner, as efficiency, he's going to have the wire crew. That's all they have to, like, you just worry about this. That makes sense. But if you're an apprentice coming in, you're telling me that doesn't matter. Now, when I go to an exam and they say how many conductors pull in through 1 inch, I'm going to look at it and go, well, it doesn't matter. Why are you telling me? So that's why I'm trying to say, I love the fact that you're building that culture.
Yeah, it's super important. You have to know what you're doing and why you're doing it and understand the why. We have guys that have come here, one in particular come to mind, with zero experience, nothing to do with electrical work. And today you throw this guy, he talks the talk, walk the walk, and do the job. Why? Because he asks, why I'm doing this? Why is 2 wires? Why is 4 wires? Why is number 6? Why is number 1? Why is 2 off?
Yeah.
It's the understanding the why. You have to. There's no other way.
And there's always moments when I always, like we talked about, like I will never get mad at my team if they bring up a new problem that we never heard of.
Of course.
Perfect. Let's learn from it.
Always.
And what's so funny is there's actually times where like apprentice will actually suggest something and I didn't think of it because I'm so used to doing so. I'm like, let's just do this. He'll be like, why don't we do this? And I'm like, dude, oh shoot. Yeah, actually that makes sense. Like, so there's moments where like they'll even surprise you. So you want to create that type of environment where they can also speak up and not just say like, hey, shut up. You're here to 8 to 4, just keep working.
How old is DJ? 18. I got an 18-year-old going to electrical engineering school at work. Yeah. And he comes out with the most like, why we didn't thought about that?
Right? And it catches you by surprise. Because you're so used to just doing things your certain way.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and then somebody comes in with a new set of ideas and they're, Yes. That's what I just love about electric. There's truly so much out there for anybody who wants to come in at any level, at any age, because they know with just 4 to 7 years, you can change your whole life. In 47 years, you can either be the top paid at any company in 4 to 7 years, or you can start making your own money in your own business in 4 to 7 years, you know? So with that in mind, what would you like to tell for somebody coming into electrical, let's say apprentices, or anybody thinking about electrical as a whole?
Stick to it, man. The first couple years, it's hard work. It's hard work, especially depending on what size of company you are and what you do. But I promise you, for all those young guys who are 18, 19, 20, coming into the trades, if you stick to it, you'll be better off than your dad, than your grandfather, than everybody in your family because it's the word. It's word to be. You talked about this before in your podcast. What's the average age of electricians?
Right now it's 44.
44. I'm 46.
Yeah.
I wish I knew this when I was 18, and I would have stuck to it then, and because I would have started this way before. Um, Stick to it, man. I mean, if you're new coming to a trade, it's going to be hard the first couple of years, but once you pass that third, fourth year, I promise you it will get easier, and then you will making life decisions of where you want to go with this career.
Yep.
You said you want to work with somebody, make a good living, fine. You want to become a project manager, fine. You want to become a superintendent, fine. You want to own your own shop one day, then you got to work. You got to work, and consistency. And learn new stuff. Please learn new stuff all the time.
I love it. I love it. Jeff, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank
Always,
you again
man.
for the
Thank you for stopping
hospitality.
by.
And everybody, thank you for stopping by. If you want to learn more about what JL Electrical Contracting is doing here in Orlando, Florida, feel free to give them a like, a follow, and subscribe. Thank you, everybody.